This episode is sponsored by Dewey's Corner Pub. Visit Dewey's Corner Pub for great drink specials, delicious food, and awesome music and entertainment. With the city's best DJs, karaoke night, open mic night, and much more. Dewey's Corner Pub is located at 812 North Piedra Street in El Paso, Texas. This episode is also sponsored by the El Paso Wing Factory. The El Paso Wing Factory is a family-friendly restaurant located in the Five Points area specializing in wings, craft beer, and great times. Visit the El Paso Wing Factory at 801 North Piedra Street, Suite 2. Please follow Dewey's Corner Pub and the El Paso Wing Factory on Instagram and Facebook for updates and additional info. This episode is also brought to you by Beats Nonstop Audio Rental. If you're looking for some serious sound, look no further. If interested, please message Beats Nonstop on Facebook at Beats Nonstop. What up, y'all? On this episode, we got the homie David Benavidez, Chef David Benavidez. Real quick heads up. On this episode, David actually cooked live on the show. So there's just a couple things I want to give you a heads up on. We, at some point, when he starts cooking, we move the mic, so we're kind of moving around a lot. And there's times where I'm not necessarily talking directly to him because he's busy cooking for a couple minutes. You can hear the sizzle of the grease. So there's that as well. So I hope it doesn't bug you guys too much. Some of you might mind, some of you might not give a fuck. But I did want to give you a heads up. So it's a very different episode, a first for Sweet Jesus Radio, which is really cool. But it does have some little sound issues. And if you watch the video whenever I put that out, you're going to notice that as well because I had to move the camera a couple times. But besides that, great episode. He's sharing just a ton of stories about just cooking in different cities, states, cooking for high-profile celebrities like Scarlett Johansson, Robert De Niro, cooking with high-profile and famous chefs as well. And I even try the dish that he made me on the show towards the end, chicken cassoulet, I believe it's called. He's also got some pop-ups coming up for Valentine's Day, and I believe also another one in February. We'll go ahead and post the links and all the information when I post the episode, but he's going to do a pop-up at 501 Bistro, I believe, San Carlos building. So just be on the lookout for that. All right, I hope you enjoy the show.
Sweet Jesus Radio.
Yo, 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 welcome to Sweet Jesus Radio. I'm your host, Sweet Jesus. My guest today, he's an amazing chef. He's made his mark here in El Paso. He's gone out of town, multiple locations. He's cooked for celebrities, high-profile celebrities. And he hit me up, wanted to be on the show. Of course, I said yes. He's a buddy of mine. And I know he's been doing his thing just from the social media. I want to welcome to the show the homie David Benavidez.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. It's great to be on.
What's up, man? How's your day so far?
Well, so far it's pretty cool. You know, I had a day off today. You know, it's nice and cold, nice chilly soup weather.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so, the weather today, it's been pretty warm for, considering it's freaking January, middle of winter. But today it rained. It sprinkled a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, man. We needed it, because it's been pretty freaking kind of hot during the noon, for January.
Yeah, man, it's been really dry. I've been running out of lotion, man.
Getting a little ashy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, just so the listeners know, I have no idea when I'm going to drop it. It's going to definitely be before Valentine's, and you'll know why here in just a bit. But, yeah, the day we're talking about is January 16th, that day that it rained a little bit. And it's probably going to get back to being warm again tomorrow, so who knows. But yeah, listeners, just a quick backstory. David, this is the homie. Again, I've seen his adventures through social media, and we're gonna get into all the details. But I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory on who he is. He hit me up. He's been seeing me dropping these episodes. He hit me up. He thought it'd be a great platform to talk about his upcoming projects and events that he's got coming up. So that's what we're gonna do. Just real quick, man. I'd like to talk. Of course, we're going to talk about the stuff you got going on, but I like to talk about a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? And did we meet through Colton?
Yeah, that's right. We met through Colton.
Okay. So just tell the listeners real quick who Colton is.
Well, you used to manage his rap group. It was The Undead.
Undead, which turned into Secret Levels.
Yeah, he
Shouts to
spun it
Colton.
off to, and he's doing a couple of different things now.
Yeah.
He's an amazing talent. And they were a rowdy group back in the days. Like, as a matter of fact, the last time I saw you, you were involved in some crazy on-stage brawl at the end of the show. So that tells you how crazy that group is. So
I'm trying to remember.
yeah, so it was.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it was a really fun. It was a really fun time back
it was
then.
a good night.
Yeah,
then.
Colton is the man. He was really gracious,
super talented.
And he hosted
Super nice
me
guy.
in Austin, which we'll get. We'll talk about a little bit
definitely
later.
go into, but that's just how we met, listeners. Just to let you know. And aside from that, just tell listeners a little bit about yourself, man. Just some of your background, real quick. We'll get into the chef stuff too, but just where you're from, and just for those that may not know, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I really do want to thank you, man, for having me.
My pleasure.
And thank
man.
you for having this platform for
I'm
us.
gonna move the mic real quick.
For us local cats, and I'm really excited. A lot of cool things going on this month.
Hell yeah.
I got a couple of good catering gigs coming up that I want everybody to know about. I want everybody to go to if they can. Support local business, support local artists and stuff.
Hell yeah.
And I'm very humbled to be on, since I'm a chef. I really don't consider myself an artist, but I do have some talent, and
Hell yeah.
I like to share it with everybody, especially people like you and me, people that are in our demographic.
Hell yeah.
I really want to share the knowledge and the experiences that I've had. And it's really fun to do these. It's really fun to do these pop-ups. I love doing pop-ups for Valentine's Day. This is going to be my 5th one.
Okay.
So I started doing them back in 2013. 2013, we did it at 501, and we called it Tournée, and it was like a little French-inspired pop-up. And then since then, I've done them at a couple of other places, for some really awesome.
So you got some pop-ups coming up, right? For those the few people that might not know, what exactly do you mean by pop-up, or what exactly is it? I'm assuming you're showing up at some place that you don't own per se, but you're showing up and just cooking up something marvelous.
Yeah, we're putting together a pre-fee menu, and a pop-up. What it is it's an event that happens maybe for one night. Some people do them for a weekend. I mean, I've heard of month-long pop-ups, and usually you think, oh, well, is it a gallery or some kind of fashion thing?
Yeah.
But restaurant pop-ups happen and happens, and they're pretty cool. I haven't seen too many of them here in El Paso. So that's why I think it's really awesome.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to kind of just to make sure we explain it to the listeners, just in case, because I'm sure they've heard the word pop-up, but even I didn't know that was a thing, restaurant pop-up.
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll have a nice themed dinner, and Valentine's Day, one of my favorite holidays. As a kid, I loved Valentine's Day, not just because I had a crush on every girl in class, but because of the chocolate, man.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun to put these dinners together.
Yeah, let's talk about the pop-ups, just so for those that may not listen to all the way through, or for whatever reason, let's kind of promote the upcoming events, the upcoming pop-ups you got before we get into anything else, man. Before we get into the stories.
Well, first off, we're doing one, and when I say we, I mean me and my girl Ana Gabriela Delgado. We're doing one at Galeria Lincoln.
All right.
And this is going to be the grand opening. I had the pleasure of doing the soft opening. I did a nice little charcuterie table for them.
What are the opening?
Really, really awesome cats. Tino Ortega for sure has been really cool.
It's a restaurant
to work with. It's actually
or
a gallery.
Gallery, right?
It's a gallery. It's an art gallery.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
And then the address is
3915 Rosa.
3915 Rosa Street in the Lincoln district.
Yes.
And I think it's Old Sheepdog Brewery. I hope I'm not getting this wrong, but they're a brand new brewery that just opened up in that district, and the gallery is right across the street. Right. They've done an amazing transformation on a little old building that nature took over. Oh, and now it looks amazing. It's super clean. They got some really good art on the walls, and they're having their grand opening February 8th. Oh, yeah. And they're going to be having some food trucks, some local artists,
okay.
and some complimentary food in the kitchen that I'm supposed to take care of.
Hell
And
yeah.
it's going to be really super local. And
Do you know what you're making, or is it supposed to be a surprise?
Well, I like to do things super seasonal.
Okay.
So whatever's ready in the garden that day, I'm going to go and snag it up and, keep it fresh. Some nice, clean, healthy bites.
Hell yeah. All right. Cool. So that's for the grand opening.
Yeah, that's going to be the
gallery.
grand
All right.
opening.
So stay tuned. Is there, hopefully there's an event page and the people can, look
Yeah,
into that.
go to the Instagram account, and it looks like it's Galleria_Lincoln.
Okay.
And they have their flyer up there.
Okay.
They've been doing
There
some
you go.
really cool stuff.
So if you need a pause and write that shit down, do that. And then we have a Valentine's Day pop-up. Right?
Yeah, the Valentine's Day pop-up is something I'm really, really excited about. Like I said, I'm very passionate about Valentine's Day and having the freedom to do my own menu and, keep it super, super local and super seasonal, because that's what high-end cooking is all about.
Hell yeah.
I don't do a lot of planning when it comes to these menus. I like, for whatever's in season, apply my classical French techniques to those ingredients.
Dang.
Make it taste good, make it smooth.
For that, I'm just saying, man, because that's out of my. I mean, I know my shit to a degree, but I want to check it out. I think that's where we're gonna end up going for Valentine's, man.
Yeah, you can give Candace or Anthony a call down there at 501, and they'll take care of you. They'll take your reservation.
Hell yeah.
And hopefully it goes well. What we're gonna do is a 3-course dinner. We might have a little glass of champagne,
Nice.
at the once you get there. And what I'm gonna do is a first course will be something shareable.
Okay.
Something nice and sensual. You can
shit.
kind of get interactive with your date, hopefully.
Feed
And
it
if
to
you
each
don't have
other.
a date, it's okay. We all love food. We'll sit you at the bar. Don't worry about it.
There you
We'll give you the
can sit with me.
single person price. Yeah. And we'll have a
You
nice.
comfortable there, man? You need more room? Not to
No,
interrupt
man.
you. Oh, you're
Yeah,
good.
no,
Or you want to
man,
push
I'm-
this up a little bit? You're good.
Yeah, I'm straight. If you want, you can push it up a little bit more.
There you go. Cool.
There we go.
Hell yeah. All right,
So-
man. Any other details that we need to know, or were you about to get into that? Did I interrupt
Yeah, I
you?
was about to tell you about the second course. So first course will be a shareable,
shareables. All right,
and then
all
the
right.
second course will be the entree. And the entree will have a vegetarian option. Well, actually, vegan option.
Ooh, my girl's gonna
'cause-
like that.
Yeah, we've got a lot of vegans here in El Paso. A lot of people are making the smart choice and jumping over and doing that healthy stuff. And I don't think I could ever go that direction myself, just because I like to cook with a lot of animal fats, a lot of butter, a lot of dairy products and stuff. Classical French cuisine has a lot in that, and that's
Vegan goes
that's
all
my-
the way, huh?
Yeah, vegan's fun, vegan's clean and healthy. It's a good challenge. Actually, vegan food is a lot more interesting than the classical food that I usually cook, because you get to do a lot of different compositions. You get to play to the seasonality, play to whatever's available, and that's just the best tasting stuff at the time anyway. So vegan's a good
Getting
thing.
excited.
Oh
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
man. And then third course, I'll give that away. We're gonna do a chocolate board. So we're gonna have.
Oh, shit.
So instead of having like a cheese board, we're gonna do a chocolate board. I haven't seen that done yet.
Hell yeah.
So it's gonna have a couple different variations, a couple different techniques. Different ingredients. And we'll have some nice chocolate bark, maybe some chocolate dipped fruit, maybe some chocolate truffles, some chocolate ganache.
So as you can tell, listeners, he knows what he's talking about. So
Oh,
just
yeah.
in case you haven't heard of David, you have now. If you're listening, make sure you hit up these events. Any other details on those
thanks
events
so
that we got to
much.
make sure we make the people aware of before we move on?
Well, I think that if you go to the social media pages, if you're
have all
familiar
the
with
detail.
501 Bistro,
Oh yeah,
they're gonna
that
have the stuff.
location-wise, yeah. 501
Yeah.
Bistro, which is San Carlos building, right?
It's the San Carlos
Corner of
building, home
Texas
of
and
La
Campbell.
Parada.
La Parada.
And
A lot of
also-
people just call it that. They're like, La Parada place.
Oh
right.
yeah, I know where La
Parada,
Parada
yeah,
is. Yeah, it's the San Carlos building.
Campbell in Texas.
You'll find a lot of cool stuff there. You know, there's an awesome record store in there, a nice tattoo shop, and then you can go to lunch Monday through Friday there at the restaurant. And
the homie Larry Overstreet makes T-shirts out of there as well. Yeah, shouts to Larry.
Yeah, actually, I actually have a Larry Overstreet.
Oh, do you?
T-shirt
Oh, you got that one. That's like my favorite. I need to get that one, man.
Yeah, even though we didn't make
it's the one with the, I guess, candy skulls or sugar skull thing, but it has all the different.
Yeah, it's got a Calavera on there, and it's got a lot of neighborhoods on there, and
the different boroughs of El Paso written on, fitting into the shape of the.
Yeah, everything from Westway to Horizon.
Shouts to Larry, because I mean that's my boy, and I always try to support his business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's good to support local business. I call him Larry Egg Roll Overstreet.
Oh yeah, he makes egg rolls too, man. Yeah, I'm gonna let him know we give him a shout out.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Oh yeah, man. You were born and raised here?
Yeah, that's right. I was born and raised here in El Paso. I stuck to the west side.
West side,
and I've been cooking for years. You know, I was influenced by my mother a lot.
Oh yeah.
You know, she got me cooking at a very young age. She got me going to restaurants at a very young age, you know, making
just McDonald's or shit.
Yeah, she's a little child labor, you know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
I go in there and help her bust her tables, you know.
Oh, okay, to help.
And it was really cool, man.
Do you remember any of the restaurants, the names?
Oh, you know,
can you say them?
Yeah. You know, when I was a really, really young kid, she worked at this place way down in Canotillo, and it was called Hall's Restaurant. That was first restaurant.
I haven't even heard of that one.
That was the first restaurant that I had ever gone to, and once I went in, man, I fell in love with restaurants. I remember, yeah, I remember, man. I couldn't even see over the pool table, and you know, going into this I was really excited to go into this restaurant, and you know, big old cowboy hats, you know, boots stomping around, you know, country music.
We'll have to look into that one. Just
those red
history.
Coca-Cola glasses, you know, checkered tops.
Halls.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're not going to find anything.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, just the history of it. I'm just surprised I haven't ever even heard of it.
Yeah, and then also she worked at this place down the streets from that. It was quite a ways down the street. Back in the 80s, it was La Rivera restaurant, and that's still there. And, They did traditional Mexican cuisine.
Donovan,
and
right?
That's when I fell in love with like green chili and chile con queso and all that stuff. And, you know, I would go.
Yeah, I was just there the other day. My girl likes to go there a lot. So.
Oh yeah, the Upper Valley's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was. We did some quesadillas, but they're not just your average quesadillas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's Mexican comfort food for sure, man. For sure, that's.
I don't know what else we ate, enchiladas and shit like that. The salsa is really good there. Hell yeah! Now, so at what point did you decide to take the cooking seriously? I mean, I'm talking like childhood. Do you remember some of the things you would cook when you were kind of young?
Well, I do. You know, my mom, I don't know how she did it, man. She raised 6 kids on her own, and she was just really, really busy all the time, you know, having to work 2 jobs. Okay. And so the summers and the weekends, I was stuck there with my sisters, and, you know, they're all amazing, but they kind of fell short when it came to, you know, cooking skills. So that's how I survived, man. I had to cook for the family at a really young age.
Damn.
And you know, then I eventually went to go work for my mom when she was the chef at an old folks home on the west side. Okay. And she would let me come on and do my own recipes. Holy shit. When she saw me getting down, you know, she really started pushing me. And then eventually, you know, I started going off on my own and cooking in old school restaurants and here in El Paso. I'm talking Jackson's, La Hacienda. I'm talking all those old school El Paso staples. Okay. And then I remember Jackson's. And then when around the time when I met Colton,
I'm gonna move this a little bit.
That's when thanks, man. That's when I really started to get into it. You know, I started working at this place called the Table Restaurant, which is now
I remember that.
And this Craves in that space, but it's right next to the West End Salon, right there in Cincinnati.
You're right.
And so back then we you know, Colton and I we kind of ran the show there. Yeah. You know, along with Tini, the owner, Eddie Provenzo. He's you know, he used to work there as well.
Okay. Yeah. No idea.
Yeah, you know, Eddie, drummer Eddie. So we were working there, and she gave me a lot of license to do my own stuff, and I really started to dig it, and then started to take it a lot more seriously, and I went to culinary school.
Oh, yeah.
I even left to go work at one of the country clubs so I can learn a little bit more about the cuisine before I went to culinary school, so I didn't, show up and not know anything about it. So then that was 2008, I believe, 2007, 2008. I went to Le Cordon Bleu in Austin.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then so I went there and I graduated from Le Cordon Bleu Austin. I did my internship at the Driscoll Hotel, which is on 6th Street. It's this real big Gothic-y hotel, and it's the longest running hotel in Texas.
Oh, for real?
So yeah, a lot of history there. The culture that I was exposed to, got me even more into the restaurant industry. And, since then, that's all I've been doing is cooking. And I chose this career because it gives me the freedom to be creative and to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And, and I've been blessed to have some really awesome opportunities recently. But if I don't, like restaurants or like the way the business is going down, I just, I have the freedom to get up and leave if I want to.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that, I really worked very hard to get to the skill level that I'm at.
Yeah.
So,
how long does it take how does that work? Just for those that don't know, like myself, as far as, do you get a degree or do you have to be there for a certain amount of time? How does that work?
Well, it helps. I mean, the business side.
How long were you there for?
Well, I was there for 2 years.
Okay.
A little bit over 2 years, maybe. And, learning the business side of it, the human resources side of it's super important. It's super important. You just don't go and start cooking. You have to understand what your margins are, what the costs involved with what you're doing are, and then you start to learn the techniques and the seasonality and the history of the cuisine. Yeah. That way you have a foundation that you can build on.
Hell yeah. Okay, so a couple years there. Now, one of the things that you were telling me is, the travels, just like I talked about in the intro. Mm-hmm. When did that start? Or let's talk. So it was, because I know you mentioned earlier you used to work at 150, right?
Yeah, I was
that after the Cordon Bleu or
no? Or yeah, that was after.
Okay.
That was after.
Talk about that for a little bit.
And so, so I really pushed brunch in any restaurant that I've ever worked at, and that's something that, I could practice my French cuisine. And, there's not a lot of French restaurants in El Paso. Maybe there's a couple now, but back then when I was cooking, there wasn't a lot of French restaurants that I can cook at. So I would create these brunch programs. And so I got the opportunity to work at 150 Sunset through Mary and Peter Lee, one of my friends that just got married. He moved to Africa. Oh, shit. He used to be the chef at the Mustard Seed. He's a really, really awesome cat. Anyway, so he got me in there, and I did a couple of events, and then next thing you know, they offered me the executive chef position. And so we started doing weddings and banquets, and they have this amazing hall there, and I got to create the wedding menus, and I got to do the tastings for the brides and for the families, and go in and customize a menu for them, and then do it times 150 times 200, whatever it took. Yeah. And the owners of that place, they were amazing. They gave us anything that we needed, to set us up for success, and nice. And they gave me the creative freedom, and there hadn't been a really good restaurant established in that neighborhood. We were able to go out there and do it. I mean, we were cooking brunch, and I was working there for I think it was about 2 years, and then I had kind of had a transition in my life, and at that point, I left, and then I met Marco Olivares, who was the executive chef at the El Paso Country Club. Okay. And at that time, he was 23 years old.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and he was on, he was a member of the World Culinary Olympics USA squad. Yeah, so, I mean, this guy was a serious talent from CIA Hyde Park, New York, and which is the best school hands down in the country. I mean, it's like Hogwarts for chefs, man. This guy was a child prodigy back then. I mean, he's grown into it now, but yeah, he was just amazing. He saw that I had a little bit of talent, so he went to the Hamptons, and then the next season he called me and he said, "Hey man, you need to come up here," and so I got the opportunity to go to the Hamptons.
Let the listeners let the listeners know what the Hamptons are.
So the Hamptons are at the end of Long Island. The East End is what they call it, and so
New York.
So yeah, you got your high society New York cats going and having their summer homes there in the Hamptons. I mean, you've got this one road called Lily Pond Lane, and everybody lives on that road. You got Sarah Jessica Parker, David Letterman.
Damn.
I mean, we're talking
high level
a lot
shit.
of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And when he told me about it, I just, I couldn't really believe that I was going to be going, and so it's just a very, very beautiful area, very seasonal. Half the town shuts down in the wintertime, but during the summertime, once the kids get out of school, people go to their summer homes. I mean, a Monday night, a Tuesday night in peak season is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We're doing maybe 600 covers, maybe 700 covers a night. Damn. And, we're just turning and burning. And it's super.
Covers
super,
is just the people.
Covers is
the
amount of people that we.
Feel free to put the water on the table.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I'm bumping my gums a little bit too much there. I gotta. Anyway, so yeah, there's it's a lot of volume. But with that said, it's very high end, super local cuisine. We have the scallops coming in; they're still twitching. I mean, everything is super fresh. There's no fishy smell. It's a Mediterranean restaurant. It's a little boutique hotel, and it's a Mediterranean themed. So the food is super fresh, super healthy, and we do a lot of it. We're doing these huge steaks. We're doing lobsters. We're doing scallops. Sea bass. We're doing halibuts. These awesome cold compositions. And it was just, it was culinary heaven for me.
Sounds like it, man.
I felt very, very blessed, and they even let me take my family over there.
Oh, for real?
During the season, and my daughter, got to splash around in the ocean and cruise around in the Hamptons.
Damn.
In the last couple of years, she really, really, she really dug it. And it's just an amazing part of the country. Unfortunately, it's only open for 4 months out of the year.
See, I didn't know that. I've heard of the Hamptons, but I didn't know it was like a seasonal thing.
Yeah, and you're really in demand. They pretty much own you once you commit. You're there. You're working. You're working 6 days a week, and we're doing about 12-hour shifts. If there's an event, you're doing 16 hours.
Holy shit!
And it's very, very cutthroat. And we had a great team, and we also got the opportunity to recruit some people from El Paso and take them up there and share that experience with them, and have a little bit more have some El Paso influence in the kitchens, and the family meals were just wonderful. And it was.
You said you had mentioned that you. You already mentioned some names, but you mentioned you served some celebrities, right? Because I know we talked on the phone, listeners. So you don't know, just so you know, we talked about what we're going to talk about, and one of the things that obviously people want to know about is celebrities, So whatever you can tell us on that front, would be dope.
Well, since I'm a cook, they kept me in the back, right? Yeah, so we're not going out there to the
you're
tables
not shaking hands and talking to them and stuff.
But I did get to cook for them, and on one of these last occasions, I sent a steak out to Scarlett Johansson's table.
Damn.
So ScarJo had been there the season before also. I got to cook her some chicken then. But anyway, this past time, she told the waitress to tell me that was the best steak that she has ever had in her life.
Damn.
And, the chef and I were high-fiving each other. He had...
Shouts to ScarJo.
Yeah, ScarJo's not a vegetarian. She's not.
She's a meat eater.
So, and then the first season, I think the coolest thing was Robert De Niro.
Damn.
Robert De Niro goes in there. And
Never heard of him.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, are you still trying to get through The Irishman?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So Robert De Niro's there, and he orders a lamb dish. Now, there's, I'll try to paint this picture the best I can, but it's a very, very intense service, and the chef is screaming at us. We have to be we have to pay very close attention to what comes in. That way we can have it ready, because once he asks for it, we have to give it to him within 5 minutes.
Holy shit.
So I had a very, very difficult station, and I was in charge of the grill, and we're talking, it's 150 degrees in my zone, easily 150 degrees, peak summer. And in the middle of service, if the stress can't get any worse, they're like, okay, Robert De Niro's out there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. What is he gonna order? And of course, he orders something off of my station.
Oh shit.
And so it was a lamb dish, and it was some double cut lamb chops with a Moroccan ratatouille. Very, very fresh composition. A nice lamb reduction for the sauce. And man, I was sweating, and I was just trying not to fuck it up, trying not to back everybody else up, because to be a good teammate, you have to have your food up in the window when everybody else does, just so everybody's food can hit the table fresh. And it's a difficult pickup. You got to get that protein perfect, whatever temperature they want it. And so I made the dish the best that I can, and I really, really focused in, and I sent it out. And within it must have been 2 to 4 minutes into him eating the dish, he ordered another one.
Holy shit.
And so I had to get that one out and ready also.
You must have liked it.
I hope he did. And another really cool story about that season was Daniel Hum, Chef Daniel Hum. He had at the time.
Tell me who that is. Yeah. Oh, you're about to. Okay.
Yeah, he had at the time. He had the #1 restaurant in the world on the list of the 50 best restaurants. And it was really cool cooking for Daniel Hum. A lot of pressure as well. And he had the best restaurant that year.
Yeah. He does what you do.
So typically, you could even say he was the best chef in the world at the time. And so he goes in there, and he has a restaurant in the Hamptons as well around that time. It was 11 Madison Park Summer House. So he had his crew with him, and they're talking Hamptons. They're talking about the restaurant. They're talking about what they're going to do, and they chose our restaurant to go and sit there and do that. And he loved it. I cooked him a nice 22-ounce bone-in ribeye, and with this amazing butter compound on there to finish it and make it nice and buttery. And he loved it so much, he came to the back and he took a picture with all of us. And he even came back 2 weeks later with his wife and ordered the exact same thing. So that was really awesome.
That says a lot.
Yeah, and there was a lot of celebrities going in there. In this past year, wasn't any different. Yeah. And it's a lot of pressure, and once you cook on that level, there's nothing that is gonna kind of frazzle you, or it's really good conditioning, mentally and physically, and techniques wise, and learning how to be prepared and stuff. It's just done wonders for my career working in that environment. And in between seasons, I also had the opportunity to cook in New York's West Village for a really famous chef. His name is Jonathan Waxman, and the restaurant's name was Barbudo. I got the opportunity to cook at Barbudo thanks to my boy Lawson Odom, who I went to culinary school with in Austin, and he was a cook there in New York City, and I always wanted the opportunity to cook in the city and test myself on the line and see if I can hang with those guys. And it was pretty much like here. Yeah. A bunch of Mexicans back there messing around, nice. Cooking some good food. And we got to, thanks to Lawson, I got to cook for Jonathan Waxman, who had an open kitchen. And he even had a chef's table right there next to the line. So that was a lot of pressure. And he did California style Italian cuisine. And he was doing a farewell to his restaurant because he had shut down Barbudo. Oh, okay. And so a lot of the cooks were jumping ship, and it was hard for him to get people to go in there and kind of close it out with him. So before going to the Hamptons this past season, I was able to go and cook in New York City, and it was so awesome cooking there. And
sounds like it.
Yeah, I'm there cooking, prepping downstairs, and Jonathan Waxman walks in with Mark Murphy, who's he's a restaurateur in New York City, and he's a judge on Chopped. So I don't know if you watch. Yeah, I don't know if you watch Food Network, but yeah, Mark Murphy was there. Right. Just down there.
Good to hear those names, man. Like now I have to go put the face to it.
Don't worry, man. I'll show you some pictures.
All right. Oh, you got some pictures? Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Jonathan Waxman, he was just amazing. Just a little bit of his knowledge, a little bit of his critiques really helped me a lot too. And I'm cooking his food, I'm cooking his menu, and he's never seen me before. He walks by my station and he says, a little less garlic, a little bit more olive oil, a little bit more lemon. Just simple little critiques like that really helped me, perfect my, my food. And well, I shouldn't say perfect, so, you're always trying to get better. You're always trying to perfect the craft, but I really appreciate all the feedback that he gave me as well.
Hope you get a little closer and closer to that ever elusive perfection.
Yeah, man, as a chef, you're really never satisfied with your product, but it's, you try,
Hell yeah. All right, so where else, man? Where else have you cooked as far as city, states?
Well, I got to cook in Austin as well. After the season, after Labor Day, I went to Austin, and like I said, Colton and Natalie, they put me up last year, and I got to go do some really awesome work there. And then this past season, I was staying with my buddy Lawson, and I got to cater Formula One. We got to do some stuff during ACL. Nice. And the Formula One gig was amazing. I don't know if you've ever been to a Formula One race, but man, these cars, they sound like jets. And,
I heard it's super
and there's
loud.
people coming in from all around the world. And you get access to the garages, and you get access to the behind the scenes. And the catering company was a company from Austria. So I got to get yelled at by Austrian chefs in a different language. So that was pretty cool. They actually stuck me with the pastry team. So I got to, sharpen up some pastry skills and see some new pastry things.
Hell yeah.
And pastry that's on his area of expertise. I just like to eat them. So it's cool to have a couple of tricks up my sleeve in the pastry department as well.
Add to the arsenal and shit. Where else?
Well,
or was that it for Austin?
No, well, Austin was really awesome. I also got the opportunity to go up to Pittsburgh and do a little dinner party there. I have some friends up there. They're from El Paso.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, Barbara and Jason. Yeah, they moved up to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's just an amazing city, man.
I've been there.
You would love it. Yeah. You would love it. They have these really, really cool, Gothic-y buildings, and we went to this church that they converted into a brewery. And,
shit!
Yeah, they're brewing
right
on the altar, and we're like, we're taking herbs and stuff from the garden, and you know, it was really cool to cook in Pittsburgh. Yeah, they're doing some really good work up there, flipping houses and stuff like that. So
Good.
So we're
good to hear.
Yeah, man. El Paso's got a lot of talented folks here, man.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. All right, shit. Well, I still got some more questions and stuff.
Yeah, most
But all this
definitely.
food talk we got, you know, it's making me hungry, man. I know you brought listeners camera and listeners audio only. He brought, you know, he's gonna cook on the spot here. And I can't pronounce
why not?
what he said he was gonna make.
Why not? You know. Yeah,
But I'm like,
I
you know
don't
what?
just.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
stop
all.
in the middle.
Yeah, I'm not all talk, man. I back my shit up, man. I'll cook right here.
I was
know.
gonna wait till the end, but I was like, you know what? I can't take it anymore, man. So
No,
you gotta,
man.
what
You're from El Paso, man. You gotta back your shit up, man. I will take you to the basketball court and whoop your ass.
that too.
You know what I mean? And I will, you know, and I will cook right here for you right now.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna
so
happen.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a chicken cassoulet.
Okay.
So chicken cassoulet is a nice French dish. You know, this is just something, my table to yours, man. I cooked this for my family tonight for dinner. So it's a stew, and it's got some fresh veggies, you know, some sausage, you know, some organic chicken, and you know, very appropriate for the day. Like you said, it's raining outside. You know, you have to have some really awesome, and I'll give you the play-by-play just in case at home you guys want to know how to make chicken cassoulet. You know, it doesn't hurt to have a couple of soup dishes in your arsenal.
Point the mic that way, and I'll get the
yeah,
camera
most definitely, man.
out there pointing in that direction, man. You want to get started now?
Hell yeah, man. Let's do it.
All right. Let me get the camera going.
Man, those headphones sound smooth.
Hell yeah. Yeah, they're good. Both of these are good. I got like a cheaper pair here. All right. Sorry for crossing in front of the camera.
Yeah, don't worry, man.
So let me make sure.
Yeah, first I gotta wash my hands.
Okay.
Maybe edit that out.
Maybe, yeah.
Or not, you know.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna point the mics this way, listeners. That way they can pick up our voices, listeners. David's washing his hands. I'm gonna get the camera pointed over here. Camera slash cell phone. All right. That's good. All right. I'm gonna get my other phone and take a couple
All right, man.
Hell yeah.
So let me just get into it here.
Over it.
So I'm gonna make sure the cartridge is loaded. Get some heat here. There we go. Yeah, you always gotta be prepared, man. You can catch me with one of these in the trunk. So what we're gonna do is chicken cassoulet, which is kind of old school French style stew. So I have some olive oil blend here in this hot pan. And so I want to let that oil heat up, let it shimmer before I add my vegetables. So this dish is composed of chicken, a few root vegetables, some kale, herbs, carrots. It's fantastic. No alum for you today.
Is that how you pronounce it? I was like,
Yeah. So yeah. If you're allergic to alum, you're allergic to onions, shallots, leeks. So I avoided that for you today. So yeah, now I got my oil starting to shimmer a little bit. And so I'm gonna add my vegetables. So I have some pre-cut vegetables in here. I have some potatoes. I got some carrots. We got some red beets. I just like to do the red beets for color. Usually you can put some celery in here, leeks. I don't like celery, and you know you're allergic to leeks, so we're not gonna put that in there. So let's start off with the vegetables. Oh, that's what I was trying to get. That sizzling sound. So at home, when you hear that sound, you know that you're on the right track. So what I like to do first is get my vegetables coated with oil and then just kind of let it sit there. Now forgive me if a carrot flies off. Okay, so you just want to get it nice and coated and then let it sit there. My heat is screaming, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So like I said, potatoes, carrots, and beets. I'm going to start off there.
All right.
And I just want to kind of soften that up, and then I'm going to add some pork sausage to it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the pork sausage, what it's going to do is it's going to give it another layer of fats, and it's going to kind of give it that animal essence that you like in a really good soup.
Oh, yeah.
If you're vegetarian, this is not your dish.
Cover your eyes.
Yeah, sorry.
Ears.
And put some, and everything is organic. It just tastes better, and it's better for you. You know, don't get me started about conventional food. Yeah, and Anna really got me into eating organic food. You know, yeah, like you said, cleaner. I feel great, man. When I was working at 150 Sunset, I was weighing over 300 pounds, man. So
shit, bro.
yeah, so I really had to work on that and cook better food. So once I started doing that, man, I feel better, and now I can, get through those tough seasons, those tough summers, man. Cooking in the kitchen is very physical, very labor intensive.
It looks like it.
Yeah, man, it's not all glamorous and glorious, man. You gotta really sweat it out. You
all that heat.
Yeah, it takes a toll on your body. So I don't understand how these younger cats can go out the night before and booze it up and everything else that they do, and then go to work. I got
the magic word, younger.
Yeah, exactly. No, you got to go in sound body, sound mind, man. If not, you're just a hazard to yourself and everybody else in the kitchen, and to the customer as well, man.
Fuck up your team.
Exactly.
And the customer, they're first and foremost as well.
Yeah, so
Makes sense.
I'm softening up my vegetables. We're gonna get a nice color because of these red beets. These red beets will start to leak off some color and kind of coat the sausage, turn it pink a little bit. I love colorful food. You eat with your eyes as well. So cooking is very sensual. You see it, you smell it, and then you taste it, and it's just an awesome experience if you can incorporate some of those techniques into your dish. That way you're not just like having just like different shades of yellow and orange and stuff like that. I hate that. So yeah, no, that's gonna cook a little bit, and I'm actually gonna turn it up here.
Okay.
So people always ask me, oh, well, how long does it take? And that's one of the things that we used to talk about in culinary school is it's ready when it's ready.
Yeah.
You really got to use your senses. You got to smell it. You got to taste it. You got to take the product out and put it in your mouth, see if it's al dente or not. You don't want it to be too mushy. You don't want it to be, you want everything to be nice and consistent. Consistency promotes flavor.
Yeah, man. Let's try this while you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll keep talking.
Yeah, for sure.
What are some of your specialties you would say?
Well, I love seasonal food, and it just depends on what's available when I'm cooking, you know. Today we go to the market and they had all these root vegetables. I mean, it's wintertime, you know. They're always growing kale somewhere, you know. So I got some kale, and it's cold outside, you know. So I thought a nice stew, you know, would be appropriate. Like I said, I study classical French cuisine, so I like to use a lot of those techniques, and which are refined techniques, and build on those. So it just really depends. I mean, I love all kinds of food. I'm not one of those chefs that just really stick to one type of food. You know, in the summertime, I'm cooking Mediterranean food. You know, in the springtime, I was cooking Italian food. And in the fall, I was doing, you know, just Texas food.
Hell yeah, man.
You know,
variety's the spice of life.
Yeah, Texas got its own cuisine. Of course, grew up around Mexican food my whole life, growing up here in Chuco Town. So, I mean, you can't fool the masses here in El Paso. Everybody knows about Mexican food, and they'll tell you, they'll let you know, like, hey man, this isn't spicy enough.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Shit, I'm gonna go into let me just check. I know we got a couple of Facebook questions.
Sure.
So,
are we live or something?
nah. No, this is pre-recorded.
While you do that, I'm gonna start seasoning my first layer.
Yeah, we got a couple of questions, man. And listeners, real quick, so the video's gonna look dope because he's cooking on the spot. I got the phone, so I apologize if the sound is a little different because we're moving the mics. This is the first for Sweet Jesus Radio, which is really cool. So you're in for a treat, but you know our voices are kind of all over the place. So I'm gonna try my best with the editing and to get that sounding good. But we do appreciate your patience with that. This isn't really a question, but the homie Colton that we were talking about, you kind of already talked about it a little bit. He was just asking for me to ask you about the time that you stayed with him when you were out there doing your thing.
Yeah, so I just added some white wine vinegar, by the way, to kind of deglaze a little bit.
All right, and you can hear it in the back.
And when I was there at Colton's place, it was super, super awesome. I mean, him and Natalie, they're so hospitable, and they're from El Paso too. I mean, Colton originally he's from Kansas City.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean he's an El Paso
KC Mo.
for sure.
Oh yeah, he definitely was here long enough to.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun. I got to spend Christmas there with them, and Christmas morning I got to cook them a nice brunch. We did some goat cheese stuffed blintz, which is it's like a French dish. It's crepes, stuffed crepes.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, and then we would always do El Paso style tacos, for the football games and stuff like that. He's an amazing, like I said, an amazing talent, and he's got a job out there, an overnight job out there at a cafe. I believe it's called Epoch Cafe, and he was an amazing barista. And he would make awesome coffee every morning. This is winter in Austin, so very, very gloomy, very rainy weather, and so we used to cook some really warm meals in his place.
Shouts to the homie Colton. Yeah, just check out his music. I mean, if you can just find it on there, just look under Undead and Secret Levels. Just I have to make sure I plug that because I used to manage him.
Space Camp Death
one of the illest MCs out there.
He is a super ill MC. He's doing
live shows,
really, really awesome
intense.
job. Yeah, I got to go to his New Year's party. They did a 2001 theme at Hotel Vegas last year.
Okay.
And so what they did was they got a lot of local bands to kind of cover some of the bands that were like very popular back then. So you had your like Britney Spears.
I think I saw him mention that.
Punk, yeah. And he did Outkast.
Oh shit!
So,
all right.
really cool.
Hell yeah! Shouts to Nat as well. And okay, so I'm gonna move on, man. We have not a question per se, but the homegirl Kat Alanis. She says,
Sure.
That's my homie, best chef and best food I've ever had.
Oh, thanks, Kat.
And yeah, it's made by David, she says. So that's just a quick shots to Cat. And then the other question, the last question, is actually it's from Jessica Markgraf, Jessica Silka Markgraf.
Awesome.
She's a big fan of the show. She has no choice because that's my girlfriend. But she knows her way around the kitchen. And she has a couple of questions, 2 in 1 it looks like here. She says, what is the most exotic food you have eaten and cooked?
Okay.
Also, what is your comfort food? Maybe even a guilty pleasure type of food. You wouldn't want the...
Oh, this is easy.
A guilty pleasure type of food that you wouldn't want the foodies see you making / eating.
Okay, let's answer that question first. So, you can catch me at the Good Luck Cafe.
Oh, yeah, that's my spot. I love that spot.
Sitting there at the counter, just watching these guys make awesome diner-style Mexican food.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I love me a good plancha burger. You know, they have the burger down to a science over there at Good Luck Cafe. They have amazing menudo.
Oh yeah, the
and all that food is super nostalgic for me.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can go in there and burn your mouth on the salsa and chat it up with the cooks, and I just love that ambiance there at the Good Luck Cafe. So that's my guilty pleasure.
Okay.
And as far as exotic food, you know, I don't go searching for exotic ingredients, but something that a couple years ago I had the opportunity to cook and to learn to make dim sum, which was amazing. Are you familiar with dim sum?
I've heard of it.
So there's
with
not too many dim sum restaurants here in El Paso. Yeah, it's those. Have you ever seen those bamboo baskets with the dumplings inside?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, so what it is, it's
a dumpling type of dish, right?
It's dumplings, and
yeah, I've seen pictures of it.
and yeah, traditionally they have it with tea in the Japanese tea houses in Silk Road, long time ago. I'm sorry, Chinese. They used to do dim sum, and so I got the opportunity to learn how to make soup dumplings.
Oh shit.
Now, this is something that is super technical. Now, I'm going pretty good here in this pan, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to add these navy beans, so some white beans. I'm going to add some white beans to it. And then I'm going to add my organic chicken stock. Damn. And then I'm going to put it on to simmer for a while, and then we can talk a little bit more.
Oh yeah, all right.
But yeah, this is gonna meld together.
Damn.
The broth is gonna reduce, bring all these flavors together. We've got our layers of flavor in there with the vegetables, the sausage. I deglazed with some vinegar, added the beans, added the organic chicken, and so now this is just gonna sit here for a while. I gotta control my heats because I'm a good chef.
He's humble too.
And hey man, I worked my ass off to get here. So yeah, I'm just gonna let that simmer for a little while, and then I'll revisit this here when I start getting that sense that this is getting closer to being ready. So the ingredients are chopped and cooked ahead of time, and now I'm just putting them in a broth and kind of letting it all come together.
Since I use my phone to record, you got to take a couple of close-up pictures with your phone for me. That way you can send them to me.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Yeah, listeners.
I've
so
been known
make
to take some pictures.
Make sure
of food,
to.
by the way.
Okay. Yeah, make sure to. If you know anybody that wants to advertise on the show, let them know. Hit me up. That way we can get some of that money and get into some real cameras here and some better lighting. Or if you want to donate, even better.
Oh yeah, man.
I some of my equipment is actually from a GoFundMe, so just a real quick opportunity to thank you guys for that. Those who donated. But okay, cool.
Yeah,
so we're gonna let
awesome things have humble beginnings.
Hell yeah.
So. Take a little video.
Okay, so right now, listeners, I got David taking a picture and a video, just kind of more close up. What he's cooking.
Chicken
Chicken
cassoulet.
cassoulet.
Classical.
I keep trying to. I'm afraid to say the second part. Cassoulet. Once I see it spelled out, if I see it in text form, then it'll stick. Cassoulet.
It doesn't look like what it sounds like.
It smells amazing too. Hell yeah.
Thank you. That reminds me a little bit of time for fragrance.
Hell yeah. All right.
All right, I'm gonna slide back on over here if you don't mind.
Cool. All right, listeners. So we're gonna get back behind the mics here.
So yeah, back to exotic food.
Okay. So we were talking about basically addressing the questions, and again talking about exotic food. We're in the middle of answering that question.
Yeah, so I think that for me, it was very, very exotic, taking on that project. And there was a dim sum, it was a farm-to-table Chinese restaurant in Austin. And the dim sum program needed a little bit of work. So I got to work with this amazing chef consultant. His name was Tien, and he used to be a partner at Mama Fugo in New York City, one of David Chang's partners. And so I got to learn how to make dim sum from him, and also the company sent me back up to New York to this restaurant that was called Northern Tiger.
Oh, sure.
And I got to learn how to make soup dumplings from that chef, and her name was Helen, and it was an amazing and humbling experience for me, because dim sum is its own cuisine, and I had such a difficult time with it, and it was such a challenge. So to get that recipe right and be able to bring it back and take it back to Austin and share it with that place, that was a real awesome accomplishment for me. And it was just super hard. So if you're not familiar with soup dumplings or the xiaolongbao.
Oh shit. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? To readjust the camera.
Oh yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, continue, man.
So
since I'm standing right in front of the camera, sorry about that. Hopefully we'll edit that out.
Yeah, so it's a soup dumpling. I mean, it's got a pork skin soup inside of it, and it also has this pork meat mixture with ginger and scallions, and it's got some I can't remember the name of the I think it's Shaoxing vinegar, and it's got some vegetables in there. It's amazing, and it was very hard to do because if you think about a soup dumpling, it has soup inside. So how do you get the soup inside? So what we had to do was make a pork skin soup, and so it had so much gelatin and so much collagen. After you render all of that out of the pork skin, when it gets cold, it solidifies to gummy worm consistency.
Oh,
so the process for that was very labor intensive, and it was very tedious, and a lot of restaurants don't do that. There's one restaurant here that I've heard of that does the xiaolongbao. So if you look up XLB or soup dumplings, you can probably find that here in El Paso, but maybe not. But you have to get this consistency on this pork skin soup right. And I mean, it was a nightmare. The soup has to be rendered for 6 hours, and then you strain it, and then you put it into some big hotel pans and put it into these high-powered walk-in refrigerators. And overnight, it would chill, and it would get super, super thick, gummy worm consistency, and then we'd cut it into strips, and then we would grind it. And then while we were doing that, we were grinding down our pork butt and soaking it in water for 24 hours. And what that would do is it would extract the blood and then give the pork a nice clean flavor. And then we would, strain that out and let that drip for a day. so it can be completely dry. And
Labor
then-
intensive like a motherfucker.
Yeah, man, I ain't even halfway there. We do the we do pork fat as well. Cut that into strips and then grind that up. So you're mixing this this ground pork meats with pork fat, ginger, scallion, Shaoxing vinegar, and then all these spices. And then you're also mixing it together with the ground pork skin gelatin and there's a certain ratio, and the consistency is a very, very central process. You have to look at, what the consistency of the filling is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's the crimping and the dough. Now, the dough was super, super hard, very, very difficult, and it's just water and flour. But it's just a certain type of flour, and you have to be, like I said, you have to use all your senses, and it has to be the right consistency. And then the rolling them, the crimping them, I couldn't do myself. They had some really awesome dumpling rollers do that part. So you take this filling in, and then you put it into the dough, and you do this really, really awesome design, and then you freeze it, and then when you put it in those bamboo baskets and steam it, you have the soup inside. So having to put that into production for a high volume restaurant was an awesome accomplishment, and that was a really good I didn't even think we were going to talk about this. I forgot to mention that part, but I got to go to New York City and stay in Washington Heights, and take the train to dumpling practice. It was cool.
Holy shit. Man, you've had an interesting life there, man.
Yeah,
Eventful.
super interesting.
Like I said, listeners, obviously, I said it earlier, but you can tell he knows what he's talking about. Now, how long does this process take? And listeners, I'm referring to the dish that he's working on at the moment.
Well, chicken cassoulet, I like to go by the viscosity of the broth. So when we have a nice kind of thicker broth, it'll be ready.
Okay.
So we don't really.
You just kind of go.
Yeah, I don't go by time. I just kind of keep an eye on it.
Okay. Hell yeah. All right, man. So I'm trying to think here. All right. So just in general, is there any other adventures that you want to share with us that you've experienced? Because of course we're all about stories. You've already shared several, but we're kind of going towards the end here, wrapping up. We're about an hour in.
Wow, man!
It just flew by, like it's known to do on Sweet Jesus Radio. Anything else you want to share, just in general? Anything else you want to share with the listeners before we wrap up?
I've really been able to embrace the local culture here in El Paso. After being in it, so long, I really, really wanted to get out. And now that I've been out there, I really want to be here again.
Hell yeah.
And so I'm been grateful to everybody that's helped me out, and to the people that have given me opportunities to cater for them or do pop-ups at their properties or invite me onto their radio shows. These things are really awesome for me, and I really want to have my own restaurant one day.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully here in El Paso. That way I can share everything that I've learned on the road and cooking in these different areas. And so that's why I like doing these pop-ups, because this particular pop-up is going to be very special because of all these experiences that I've had over the past couple of years and learning these different cuisines and these different techniques from these amazing chefs. I get to put it all together on one menu and offer it to people here in El Paso, which is really awesome.
Hell yeah. Okay, shit, man. I mean, I don't see why not. So, be on the lookout for David's restaurant at some point here, hopefully.
Oh yeah, man. It's going to be a process, but that's something that I've always wanted to have. If you know me personally, you know that's what I want.
Do you ever kind of I know you're on some of the social media, but do you ever kind of use that to promote anything, or just kind of keep it on a personal level, or do you have a page where you do just the food stuff? Because I mostly only see you through Facebook.
Yeah, that's something that, maybe I'll start working on pretty soon here. I just started messing with Instagram and like Twitter.
Instagram's perfect for what you're doing, man.
Yeah. I get a little bit shy, posting pictures of my food. I'm just like, but I have been known to post some food. So yeah. But thank you for this amazing opportunity. I hope you like this dish. This is, like I said, a gift to you from my table to yours.
I appreciate it, man. I'm excited. I'm trying to wrap this up so I can eat.
Oh yeah. Well, I want them to hear how you like the food. So let me slide off real quick and put the finishing touches on this dish.
All right, do that,
and let you taste it.
I'll do some yapping here while we do that. So listeners, David here about to check on the dish. Again, one of these days we'll get multiple cameras going. Right now it's pointing at me, but all right, so it's tasting it. Okay. It looks amazing from here. We're in my tiny apartment. Just so you know, listeners, I've been doing them here out of my apartment.
Represent that.
Sunset Heights. And yeah, I live in a very small apartment.
I'm also gonna do a little Super Bowl party down the road here.
Oh shit.
Down here at Cito's place.
Are you?
Yeah, he's the president of the Sunset Neighborhood Association.
Cito.
Shout out to Cito and Terry.
I'm gonna invite myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. And he does the Sunday food page on Facebook. I don't know if you ever seen the Sunday food page. But if you're not a member of Sunday food page, you should become one soon.
I'm gonna look it up now.
That way, Cito might be nice enough to invite you to our Super Bowl Sunday food extravaganza.
Sunday food page. El Paso. All right, let's see here.
So, would you like dark meats or white meats?
What do you recommend?
I recommend the dark, man.
Dark, yeah.
So let's just go with the chicken thigh right here.
Let's do it.
So I got a nice fatty chicken thigh right there. And so now I'm going to start to scoop some of this sausage and vegetables and broth. Try not to make too much of a mess here for you. Now, I don't like to add a lot of salt to my food. I like to season at the end.
Okay.
Because when you're cooking a dish like this, the salt can really get condensed down and make the dish super, super salty. So you can always add that later, but you can't take it out. So be careful with the salts. And so this dish is nice and colorful. You got the beets, you got the kale.
Damn.
And so I have it here, and now I'm gonna put the finishing touches on there. I'm gonna brighten it up with some parsley. Now I don't like to do the Salt Bay kind of finishing. Yeah, I'm more of like an Allen Iverson finger roll type.
Oh shit.
So there you go.
Hey, do you actually ball? Do you play basketball?
Oh yeah, man. I got a silky smooth jump shot.
Oh shit.
I took a jump shot selfie over the summer nothing but net. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit. Hey man, we should play one of these days. We're down here at Mundy Park. I haven't played it forever, so I need somebody to kind of push me.
Basketball is something that you can always get into to stay healthy. And, it's hard work chasing some dumb motherfucker around, trying to take basketball away. So
I literally have a ball that I bought a couple years ago. I've used it once. It's there in my trunk, ready to go just in case I actually use it.
Dude, that's a great idea, man. So I'm going to just put a little bit more of this fresh sea salt here. Also, I'm going to grab a spoon from your kitchen if you don't mind.
Go for it. It's going to be to the right of the sink there.
Okay.
There's some...
my other right?
The other right, yeah. I got some decent silverware, I'll say that.
Yeah, so here's yours. Let me just taste it one more again to make sure.
Isn't that fucking hot?
The inside of my mouth is all calloused.
Man, because I'm a huge wuss when it comes to that.
Come on, man. It's cold outside.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm down, but I'm just saying... I see people, at work drinking coffee right after they pour it, and I'm like, man, I gotta. For the most part, I'm just like, I don't know if it's just, I'm not sure what it is, but I think I'm just a puss.
So let's take a picture here.
Yeah, let's take a picture of it.
So this is chicken cassoulet.
Take my laptop out of the shot here.
Like I said, this is just dinner food, man.
Oh yeah.
Let's get you with the cassoulet. Perfect, man.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead, man, taste.
All
and if you don't mind, I'm gonna pour myself a bowl too, cause
Go for it.
I didn't eat dinner.
Oh. All right, let's see.
Just a little salt. So what do you think,
Yeah,
man?
it tastes amazing, dog.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can kind of taste a little bit of everything of all the ingredients in the soup part of it here. Damn, so good.
Yeah, man.
White beans, I've never even seen these. See, I thought I knew my shit, man. But then again, I'm comparing myself to you. This is really good.
Well, cooking is one of those things that is really awesome because you can never master it. You can never see everything. So it's always good to learn about new dishes. I love these headphones, man.
Sound clean, right?
Yeah.
So listeners, yeah, we're actually tasting it, eating it. Chicken cassoulet, am I saying it right? How do you spell that? Gotta look it up now.
Yeah, you should probably look it up.
Because I'm one of those nerds that likes to know how to spell what he's saying. Cassoulet. I was about to say I had it right in my head. It's French, so yeah, double S-O-U-L-E-T. C-A-S-S.
Yeah, I like the beets in here, man. You usually won't find beets in cassoulet.
Oh, really?
But yeah, because, the color leaks everywhere. But it's so earthy. Yeah, I just love beets. Beets are so good for you.
The whole thing tastes a little earthy. That's the perfect word for it, man.
Yeah, man, and it's food like this that I'll be cooking at 501 Bistro on Valentine's Day. So if you don't have any plans, you should probably make some and give Candace or Anthony a call down there at 501 and put your name on the reservation list because it's going to be very special. Like I said, all the experiences that I've learned and done in these past couple of years, tasting food across the country, everything that I've been working on, I'm going to try to put it into one menu that night and share it with you.
Okay, I finally got a piece of the sausage, which is amazing. Yeah, because I like to use every once in a while I'll make some lasagna, and I use Italian sausage, not just the ground beef. I use both.
Yeah, Italian sausage is really, really diverse. You can do a lot of really cool stuff with it. Especially lasagna. Or chicken cassoulet.
Or chicken cassoulet.
Yeah, I had this on the menu at 150 Sunset.
Oh, yeah.
Briefly.
I need to put that on my list, that restaurant. 150 Sunset.
Yeah, I haven't been in a while, but I'm sure it's pretty good. I'm sure they still have the Hall of French Toast.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. So, listeners, we're going to continue eating. And anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Well, I do want to say thanks again for having me on, and thank you for having this platform for us. And
Hell yeah.
I hope to see you at the opening of Galleria Lincoln, or I hope to see you at 501 this month.
Why not?
Or I hope to see you at the Super Bowl party.
I found the page, man, so.
Hell yeah.
What's homie's name?
Cito Negron.
Okay. That sounds familiar as fuck.
Yeah, he used to write for El Paso Times. He works for a senator,
okay.
He's the president of the neighborhood association. And he's super, super into cooking. So, yeah, he knows his stuff, too. So we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a good spread.
All right, listeners. As I speak with wood in my mouth. Again, listeners, I want to thank my guest, my homie David here.
You're welcome, man.
Again, you're doing a lot of great things, man.
Thank you.
I'm glad you reached out. Now I know about the pop-ups.
Hell yeah,
So
man.
I'll be definitely supporting. Aside from that, listeners, keep spreading the word, keep sharing. That's how we keep this thing going. Like I mentioned earlier, if you know any businesses that want to advertise on the show, let me know. If you want to donate, that's going to go to equipment, cameras, just a better show in general, hosting, fees, things like that. Aside from that, this is Sweet Jesus Radio. Thank you for playing.
Sweet Jesus Radio.